What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another react. You know what I'm saying? We got something from the boy Ty about one of my favorite DC heroes, The Flash. In this case, Wally West. I mess with Barry Allen from the CW iterations. You know what I'm saying? We don't really mess with Ezra Miller too heavy, but like we you know what I'm saying? We mess with Grant Gustin. We mess with Wally West. And this is a video about, does Wally West actually solo your verse? I've been recently listening to My Ordinary Life. For those of you who don't know, that's like that Wally West song. You know what I'm saying? For the very last time. Like 2021? 2020, like 2021 to 2023 TikTok, bro. The joint had people in the chokehold when it came to like the little debates and like the versus battles and stuff. So today we're gonna be going to our favorite power scaler in terms of not making random like leaps of logic. You know what I'm saying? He keeps his joint consistent. We hearing it here first from the dog Ty Learned. And as always, no wrong with pre-find a little like. Make sure when y'all boys subscribe. Both fun. Shout out y'all. Y'all been subscribing, and like the older videos, I wasn't like telling y'all to subscribe, and y'all still been like messing with me heavy. So the newer videos, y'all are gonna like learn more about the Discord com, which is linked in the description. Cause I gotta let y'all know, cause y'all not gonna check if I don't tell y'all. You know what I'm saying? But when you subscribe, whether here or on Twitch, make sure you hit the follow button. We are hitting affiliate soon, so I really appreciate those of y'all on YouTube for supporting the YouTube, getting us to 60 subs, and some of you that have trickled over to stream. I really do appreciate y'all because it's not easy watching like long form content with the way like social media is nowadays. And we're about to hit affiliate, you know what I'm saying? So it's about to be gambling. But yeah, description is like down here, and then like where his Twitter is, you're gonna see the joint. And also shout out one of my mods. They made the art for my PFP. So if you're an artist and trying to get into the community, bro, we got an art section, bro. Just let me know. As always, I know I can't forget the bell. Make sure y'all boys drink y'all some water, get y'all some sleep, and get y'all some sunlight, man. Great to see you here again, man. But without further ado, let's get straight into the video.
Now, after seeing the amount of memes related to Wally West and him
My goat.
soloing my favorite verse, I wanted to see how far bro would actually get within the pieces of fiction I've gone over
For the
throughout my
very last
time of
time.
power scaling. Which
Yeah.
pretty much means we will be power scaling Wally West and putting him up against verses
got it
like
in the background,
Marvel,
chat.
Dragon Ball, Ben 10, and etc. So be sure to stay until the end of the video to know if Wally West truly solos. Because I'm not gonna lie, this trend of Wally West soloing everybody's favorite verse has gotten out of hand, with people actually believing he is just simply the strongest character within fiction.
Okay, I don't think he's the strongest character in fiction because he's not a gag character. But in terms of, I definitely got Wally West. I'm not too like nerdy, not nerdy. I like the word nerd. I feel like I'm a nerd. I don't like geek. Geek sounds a little weird, but I think I'm a nerd. But I'm not too deep into power scaling. So just off the top of my head, I definitely think Wally's like top at least 15 when it comes to characters that fit a narrative when it comes to like power scale. Because there are characters like Aurel from Dragon Ball who came from Dr. Slump, who's really a gag character. Like the author stated, she's a gag character, and things that can kill her just won't happen. She has like plot manipulation, so to speak, and she can remember things from like erased time. So it's like she's outside of the time stream as well. You don't typically find that with a character that follows a narrative because no creator is willing to like put in such a crazy variable. It'd be like what happened with Gojo times like 8. You're not gonna be able to explain what happened. It's not gonna make sense if they lose. But like sometimes that has to happen narratively. So I got Wally top 15 in terms of narrative characters, in terms of
Which,
strength.
no. Wally West is
He's not
obviously
number
not
one.
the strongest person within fiction. I don't even think he's the strongest being within his own universe. However, he is still one of the most powerful superheroes to ever step
Shout
foot
out
in the
Young
DC
Justice, bro.
universe. Now,
For those of y'all that don't know ball, bro, Young Justice is really that show, bro. Like, it was going crazy when it came to the DC cinematic universe. Well, it's not really, it has nothing to do with the movies, but DCAU, if you tapped in with DC, you know, like, that has been DC's hope, and they're like significant. I personally think DCAU is better than like Marvel animated universe. You know what I'm saying? But Marvel got us when it comes to like movies and stuff. And I mess with Marvel heavy. I just don't like be bumping their TV shows like that. But this is one of them ones, bro. Had my dog had have my dog Richard Grayson become Nightwing, bro. And
Before
y'all
Wally
know
West
that's my
was
favorite.
notorious as one of the strongest and fastest beings within the multiverse, he was
And he can steal
initially just
speed.
a man who happened to get struck by lightning. This, combined with some chemicals, allowed him to gain the ability of super speed, and it wouldn't be long until he'd be Barry's sidekick, known as Kid Flash. But of course, with the events of post-crisis and Barry Allen sacrificing himself, Wally takes the mantle of the Flash for a few years before these two Flashes just kind of end up coexisting because, you know, comic book retcons and whatnot. Anywho, even in Wally's early days as Kid Flash, he was casually moving at half the speed of light and can move so fast that he can leave photons standing still. And he has shown the ability to intercept lasers and obviously increase his level of speed to pretty much whatever he needs it to be. And for those who want to hear me say it, yes, Wally West can move far beyond the speed of light. We see Wally not only be fast enough to keep up and outpace Superman, but when arguing with Barry and running across the planet, Superman
I think some people, nah, that's funny. They're both Flash, and look how Superman's like behind him. I think you could probably put him at like immeasurable or something, like because he's able to outrun teleportation and stuff. So far beyond like the speed of light is like him. He builds up his argument. So I'm not. This is no like shot at Ty for saying that. I'm just saying to my knowledge because I like comparing what I know to what pretty essentially what I'm learning. You got to keep that open vessel to really learn, chat.
states that he's not able to stop them. This leads into Green Lantern literally conjuring up a construct with all of his will, which just fails. And it gets so bad that they quite literally play havoc with the fabric of the multiverse, and remember, this is only from a little argument between these two, which led into them racing. Wally and Barry then go on to stop Zoom, a villain of Wally's who took every single force except the Speed Force, which gave him the strength to quite literally solo the Justice League. This leads into Barry and Wally chasing him down, and after Barry gives Wally a "Run Barry Run" speech, he gains the confidence to keep going and even catch up to Zoom, leading into him quite literally one-shotting a multiversal level threat while nerfed after getting a confidence boost. And again, him and Barry accidentally just broke into hyper time, meaning they should be bare minimum immeasurable in speed. And past this point, Wally just kind of leaves Barry in the dust, and it's just kind of a general consensus that Wally is faster than Barry. And I mean, Barry says it multiple times, Barry is just always one step behind Wally. Wally has taken on both Zoom and Thawne at once.
I mean, that's low key how it's supposed to go. You know, that's like the predecessor or like the prodigy. I think predecessor is what I'm looking for. Um, protege as well. They're meant to surpass like their teacher, right? And the purpose of that is obviously like I don't take you in to make you a mold of me to be just as good as me. I take you in to make you something better than what I was. You know, to like for example, in Barry's case, he didn't have a mentor with speed. Someone gets super speed, I'm going to be their mentor. They naturally have a better start than I did. And then in lots of cases, they're supposed to have more potential because if a comic or a narrative doesn't like develop in terms of strength, the twists and turns, everything. If it doesn't develop, it doesn't sell. It's not interesting. You feel me? So that's why, like, I'll always say, even though like, I'm not into power scaling, but if someone asks me who's winning, Nightwing or Batman, I'm probably gonna say Nightwing because Batman has gotten maxed out by Red Hood. I'm not saying strongest forms. I'm just saying what Nightwing stands for. I feel like if someone's right, because at the end of the day, sometimes we forget narrative matters with the character, right? And to be honest with you, like Stan Lee said, it really depends on whoever's writing the comic. But I think Nightwing symbolizes more than what Batman does. Batman is the fact that, with light there will always be darkness. So I will embrace the darkness while still being light. That's like his thing, which leaves only, good people who are villains the chance to become good, like Plastic Man. That's his like thing. Well, like with people, superheroes who like symbolize light, their villains are typically just villains, and they still sometimes like convert them, like with the Flash. If we see in the animated joint, he like has a moment like the trickster where he's like, "Oh, you're not taking your medicine." Da, da, da. We mess with them. I mess with them heavy. But Nightwing is kind of like Batman's and Superman's like little bro when it comes to superheroing because he grew up with Batman's like training, but he symbolizes the hope that Superman stands for. Hence the name Nightwing, which came from the Kryptonian myth. But also he's just agile. I don't think you can like if you look at any of Batman's contingencies for Nightwing, it's like pretty much same strength, same speed, just more agile than me. I'm just a grown man who's older, and like like there's little like things like that. But like obviously gadgets. Batman uses gadgets more often, so that would give him the edge. But like you know what I'm saying? I feel like Nightwing and Wally are in the same. In the same token, there's something that their mentors like couldn't have, so to speak, and that is why they start their own teams and become their own heroes.
And mind you, this isn't even Wally at his absolute peak. You see, when Wally is at his strongest, he's mainly accessing energy from the Speed Force, a dimension that exists outside of DC's cosmology and should be considered bigger than things like the base universe, which bare minimum should at least contain dozens to even up to an infinite number of dimensions. Now, of course, this all depends on what you think for DC's cosmology. Wally could range from as weak as Battle of Gods Goku to beyond Alien X's comprehension. It just kind of depends how you argue it. However, I definitely think DC's cosmology does not just cap at like 4 or 6D. It should be a lot higher within the dimensional tiering system, as there's just a bunch of ways to prove that the base universe of DC has an infinite amount of dimensions. And of course, if you want to be fat and sweaty about it, you can say DC is layers upon layers into Outerversal. While I definitely think that scaling is not definitive, I don't think Wally just caps at 4D at best either. Now, I didn't get specific with his speed, but for reference, Wally is somebody who's without a doubt the fastest man alive within his own universe. He's faster than Barry, Superman, and pretty much any relevant DC character. In fact, he's so fast that he's said to be faster than the Speed Force itself, which is an incredibly stupidly overpowered statement because we just went over how busted the Speed Force actually is.
It's such a crazy statement when the thing that powered you were stated to be stronger than that. He has the deepest connection with the Speed Force, which I liked where they were going in a Flash show with that. Like he was doing like the Lotus, he was like making like the constructs with the Speed Force. I think that was tough. But then obviously, you know what I'm saying, the writers fell off. And Wally like, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it's a broken type of statement where it's like, say Superman's powered by the sun, and they go and say, yeah, Superman is like he's stronger than the sun right now. Insane statement, you know? Like, oh yeah, he's way, you know, oh his heat vision is stronger than multiple stars. It's like that's an insane statement that someone can run.
And I
with.
mean,
Like,
Wally,
still.
while exhausted, has ran back in time, he's ran through hyper-time accidentally, and has even outran the concept of death itself. And after outrunning death, he even ran to the end of time and even witnessed the birth of a new universe. He should be beyond layers into immeasurable based off of these feats, meaning your goats like Sonic and even Goku wouldn't be able to catch bro due to them only having baseline immeasurable feats. But of course, Wally's strongest form is not when he's harnessing the Speed Force's power, it's when he's in the Mobius chair and accessing the power of Dr. Manhattan. When possessing the power of Manhattan, this allows him to reshape reality itself along with possessing infinite knowledge and gaining awareness to all of time itself. With this power, Wally believes he can mend all of reality within the DC universe, or pretty much the entire DC multiverse. Meaning, if you didn't think
everything
Wally was potentially boundless beforehand, this version of Wally is definitely boundless casually. The Batman Who Laughs did yee him out of the chair, but that was when he was only off guard, and under normal condition, this version of Wally is one of DC's strongest individuals. And in all honesty, he still is one of the most powerful characters within fiction. When comparing him to other verses I talk about like Goku or Alien X, it's pretty clear that this guy is far beyond their capabilities by like an infinite dimensional mark.
Yeah, once you get to like that crazy amount of strength, people who are stronger than you are like like they're so much stronger than you, like to such an infinitesimal amount. It's like I'm trying to think of a good example of that like leap. Like for example, if your speed, let's say you have maximum durability, someone has maximum like attack power. If they don't have maximum durability, when they punch you, they're gonna die because their arm is gonna break. They're gonna get hurt, right? It's that type of situation when like these two things don't compare at all, even though they're both at the highest level because they can't do it by themselves. He is shown to have durability for his speed. He is shown to have, you know, it's like once you get below that, like say someone's boundless. Oh, I'm immeasurable. Okay, I'm boundless. You being immeasurable at most lets you appear as like somewhat of a threat. You know, it's like it just gets to a crazy point.
Margin. Alien X is maybe baseline Outerversal with the statement taken out of context, while you have to literally play mental gymnastics to suggest Goku even reaches this tier. Meanwhile, even Wally on a regular basis when channeling the Speed Force's power should be far faster and more powerful than these guys. The Speed Force is a concept in itself that just transcends anything in Ben 10 and Dragon Ball's cosmology combined, along with the majority of other verses that we've mentioned, like within Marvel and Bleach. Wally West by himself might already beat Superman. I mean, already characters within universe think he is stronger than Superman, but if we grant him the Mobius chair, he would be entering a completely new realm of power and being capable of rewriting all of these realities in any way he desires. However, what's funny about this is Wally doesn't really do much with these powers when he's in the Mobius chair. He gets glazed for sure, but then just gets thrown off the chair by Batman Who Laughs, who just steals this power. So it does make it kind of hard to say Wally is top 1 in DC, especially in his debut. He just gets yeeted out of the chair. But of course, since he has Manhattan's
And then that Batman Who Laughs got beat by like a Wonder Woman variant.
powers, he can just casually wipe the DC universe off the map, as Dr. Manhattan can already do that. So unfortunately, Wally doesn't solo, as he would probably get off guarded and thrown out. So unfortunately,
why did they draw Ambrose me?
Wally doesn't solo, as he would probably get off guarded and thrown out of the chair pretty easily by characters relative to himself. And if he were to just run a gauntlet on the entire universe, I'm sure some character would be able to get the jump on him and throw him out of the chair, thus preventing him from soloing the verse. So to answer the question, no, Wally does not solo. He doesn't even beat up Sour Grapes. However, he does beat up Goku and Alien X with the blink of an eye.
No, he's doing it. He's doing the thing.
Oh yeah, and he also solo Sonic.
The haters wanna hurt me and I'm living at the pain. Stand still, eyes closed, let the world just pass me by. Pay bills, nice clothes. If I fall, I think I fly. Touch me, witness, make me part of your desire.
Where's I feel fear? Oh, we just cut to the end of the video. We shout out his stuff. Hey, shout out Top, bro. That was funny. Shout out to dog Top, bro. Very creative video, and we kind of early on it. We an hour in. You know what I'm saying? If you see this video within an hour of a drop, make sure you know what I'm saying, comment first or something, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's an achievement. I'll take those. But yeah, I think that's gonna be about it for me on this little topic. You know what I'm saying? Your boy slide into your timeline, nothing. But I know what time to see you tomorrow, man. Peace.